One of the main cosmetic issues that can really turn off potential buyers when selling used cars are yellowed and faded headlights, like we have on this 535i E60. In today's video, I'll remove the headlights, repair them, and replace the old beat up lenses with some brand new ones. So let's get into it on Rebuild Revival. We'll start by removing the front bumper since we'll be painting it later on. We'll pop off this hood seal. Take out these 5 T30s. Remove a few 8mm over here. Missing one over there. We'll do the same on this side. Unscrew 4 8mm here in front. Now we'll have a few electrical connectors to disconnect for the fog lights and the PDC sensors. We'll remove this lower trim to get to the connectors. Should be a few 8mm, we've only got one. 2. We'll need to disconnect a couple of these connectors. The one that goes to the fog light. This one goes to the parking distance sensors. Make sure you also disconnect the fog light on the driver's side. Now we'll need to unclip the clips over here from the bumper to the fender. You kind of just push back and pull out. Okay, now that we've got the bumper off, we need to start removing the headlights. So this one, as you probably have noticed, is broken. A piece of the lens has fallen off on the inside, but the light around it is still working. Over on the driver's side, it's also fallen out, but the light itself is not working. So I want to try and see why this is not working, maybe replace the bulb, or it could be a module. 2 T30s up here on top, and then 2 here from the front. This bracket is supposed to be bolted onto the headlight housing, but I guess the screws or bolts were loose. This cap is what we're going to take off, so we'll just unscrew this, pull the bulb out. Should just be able to turn it. Ah, okay, so our bulb is just burnt out. So all we'll need to do is replace this bulb and all of our lights should be working. So we can go ahead and remove this housing altogether. There is just one connection here. There we go. All right, now that we've got the headlights removed, we're going to start disassembling them to prepare to put them into the oven. So I'm just going to take everything off that I can. Bulbs, modules, covers. Don't touch the bulbs. Here's the burnt bulb. Oh, I just broke that clip. Ooh, look, that's probably why it burnt, is because these wires were shorting out. So we'll have to rewrap these wires. Plug it. Just a couple of T20s around here. There we go. Pull this bulb out. Also, removing these covers will allow the heat to transfer throughout the whole headlight more evenly and get behind the seal that we're trying to heat up, or over here. And one more here. Had a little screen in there probably to keep bugs out. So we'll just put that in there. There's a few clips we'll need to remove. One here, one here. And now there are a few T10s we'll remove. We can also pop this plastic trim piece off on the top. It kind of wraps around the side. We'll remove this electrical connector. We can pop this bracket out as well. Now we'll just pop all these clips off. Be very careful if you're going to reuse this. All the plastic on this thing is very brittle. Okay, now there's one more piece here. We'll take this off. A couple of little clips, same deal. Okay, now this one's ready to go into the oven. Now we'll just do the same thing to the other one. We'll put all of this into one box to save it for, what's this, the driver's side. And then we'll put all the pieces from the passenger in another box. All right, so we're getting ready to put the headlight into this oven. I found this oven on Marketplace for free. It's a dual oven, electric. The top one, only one of the elements is working, so I'm gonna be using the bottom one. And we've got it preheating up to 240, but I've also got a thermometer inside because I don't trust it. So we're just waiting for the thermometer inside to say 240, and then we'll go ahead and stick the headlight in. You don't want to put the headlight in while it's warming up because the elements get really, really hot. This barely fits. Perfect. We'll put that back in there. All right, so it's been in here for about 20 minutes at about 240 degrees. I did have to turn the temperature on the oven up a little bit to get it actually up to 240. So we're right around 240, 250. So let's go ahead and pull it out. And we'll get it over on the workbench. All right. She's warm. Okay, let's start spreading it open right away. We're gonna start over here on the edge and on the corner. I'm just gonna stick my screwdriver in and twist. I've also got these. Let's try this. There it is. That's hot right there. Here is our broken piece. We'll need to figure out what's going on here with this piece and see if we can fix that, but we've got the lens off. To fix the broken lens, we'll have to disassemble the headlight assembly. So we're gonna start by taking this black piece off. It looks like there are a few torques. There is a little bit of the Permaseal still holding it in right here. And then I think we're gonna need to unplug these. So we'll just pop those out now. There it is. Okay. There's a little tab right here. Be very careful. Now this is the piece that is broken. All right, just pulled this one out of the oven. This is the passenger side. Let's get started on this. Try and get it going a little bit quicker. Wow, that one came out really easy. This one was on about 250 for about 20 minutes. A little bit warmer. Not much though. All right. And same deal, same exact issues here with this broken piece. So now I just want to disassemble this one like I did the other. This piece is supposed to come up through the bottom here. So this piece goes there, and then this piece goes down over the top, and there used to be little plastic clips on this ring. There was 3 of them that would come up through these holes and somehow lock it into place. So the plastic tabs have broken off of here. My plan is to glue and epoxy these light housings back together, but after disassembly I noticed the chrome rings, one in particular, had a lot of scratches and missing chrome, so I'm going to repaint them now. We'll prep them by scuffing with fine Scotch-Brite. Also, one was broken, so we'll have to glue that back together. Okay, now we'll do this one. I'll scuff it up first and then I'll glue it together while we paint it. Now we'll just scuff up the surfaces where they're going to be glued. Now what I want to do is wipe them with alcohol. Now we're just going to use a little bit of super glue. Now we'll just hold that together for a few seconds. All right, We've got our rings here in our paint booth. We're gonna use some adhesion promoter because it's down to bare plastic and this chrome stuff is just coming off anyways. So we're gonna use a little bit of adhesion promoter and then we'll do a couple of light coats of that chrome stuff. Okay, we're ready to go on with the chrome paint now. We did 2 coats of adhesion promoter and now we'll probably do like 2 coats of this. I think that's good, 2 coats. I'm gonna go pop them into the oven since we have it, and maybe it'll speed up the dry time a little bit. We are going to start gluing here. I've got some maybe 5% alcohol with water. I just want to wipe this down a little bit, just to get any of my fingerprints off of it. Now we'll make sure the lens, chrome ring, light fixture, and the housing all line up properly before gluing the ring into the housing, since it can only go in one way. Once the lens is completely seated into the chrome ring, we can glue the chrome ring into the housing. Okay, there's a little bit of silicone around this ring, so I'll just wipe that off, just using a little bit of that water with alcohol mixture. Now let's do the other side. We'll do the same process as the first one. We'll just make sure everything lines up together properly. Then we'll glue the ring into the housing with the clear RTV silicone. Round 2 looks a lot better than round 1. All right, so these have been drying for quite some time now. I actually put them in the oven, maybe 150 degrees or something like that for maybe a half an hour just to dry that silicone up some. So now what we're gonna do is use the high heat epoxy and epoxy these in on top, which will also get some epoxy around where the ring kind of meets the housing and glue it all together with this really strong high heat epoxy. So let's get into that. Let's get this mixed up. I'm gonna grab a couple of toothpicks because I don't really need a lot. This is definitely gonna hold for sure. So now I'm just gonna set this down and then I'll put some epoxy over the top of it. So we'll set this where it goes, like that. And now we'll just kind of add some epoxy around. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Check that out. Hopefully you guys can see that. So now let's move to the next one. Just gonna mix up another little batch right here. Okay, I think that is good for both of them. So let's go preheat the oven and then we'll pop these in. Okay, so we've got these in the oven, baking at 250 for 1 hour, which will speed up the epoxy drying time, and we should be able to handle them after that. All right, let's pull these out. That can be turned off. So they should be nice and hard now. So let's get them off and over to the workbench. We're going to switch gears a little bit and start removing the rest of the stuff out of the lens. This is just melted in with some plastic on a few points, which some of them don't even seem like they're holding anymore. This is the point where it's attached with. So I'm going to heat it up from this side and see if I can melt that. Let's try that. More heat. Let's try that. There it comes. There it is. For this, we will put it back in the oven because it's such a big area. Now we'll do the same to this one. See, this one is still attached over here as well. So yeah, we'll have to heat those up as well as that one. So now we're going to pop these back in the oven and try and get this glue or silicone to heat up so we can pull this out. So let's go do that. All right, so I pulled one of them out, left the other one in there. Now, let's try and pull this out a little bit. Yeah, I'm just using a little screwdriver that I've customized a little bit. Filed it down to a point. It's pretty sharp. All right, one thing that we're gonna need to do is cut this hole in this lens. I bought lenses without the hole and I don't want to buy new ones, so I'm just going to cut this hole and get some sort of rubber plug instead of the inserted twist kind. It'll just be a rubber plug. We've got our hole saw, which is the same size. We're just gonna measure where this one is and hopefully get that one in the same location. Look at that. Perfect. Now we just need to blow out the inside, get all that plastic out. Let's get the other one. Burnt right through that one. I went a little bit faster on this one, so it kind of melted the plastic a little bit and left a little ridge. So we'll just knock down that little ridge. All right, so now we've got both of these holes drilled. They're all cleaned up. I sanded them a little bit. There's no lips or anything, so the holes are good. Now we're gonna start reassembling the lenses. So we'll start with the blinker that we just took off of the old one. So we'll start with this one. So first, we wanna make sure this is good and clean. I can kind of see a little something down there, so we'll just blow it out. First, what we'll do is snap this piece into place. So we want to make sure it's all the way up against this edge. So we'll hold that there and then push the rest of it into place. There's a little hole here and a little notch there. So pop that in. Okay, now we'll fill in this channel right along here with black RTV silicone. I may have to go back through and kind of push that in. Trying to hold this thing. Okay. I wish I would have gotten the full tube with the gun. Definitely would be a better option. Now we need to force it down into there a little bit. Yeah, definitely if you're doing this, get the one with the gun. The whole tube, even though it might be more than you need, it's a lot easier to push out. Okay, and I think you'll be able to get a smoother bead. I've got this little, it's like a pry tool, plastic pry tool. Let's get some alcohol on a paper towel ready to wipe any extra off. I'm either gonna mess it up or make it look a lot better. Let's see. That's good. Not the cleanest, but that'll do. All right, now let's do the other one. Starting over here, push all the way up against there. All right, so that's done. We need to put this piece back in, which we will need to melt into the plastic. So let's pop it back in first. Let's see. Yeah, so pretty much we'll push it in there as tight as we can. We'll melt it in right in this area, we'll melt it in right in this area, and probably somewhere right in here. Let's get our plastic welder. We're actually just gonna use its own plastic to stick it on. I'm just gonna kind of cut through and smash a little bit of this without really, I don't really want to make too big of a mark. Pretty much something like that. Now let's do it right over here as well. I'm gonna put a little bit of plastic on top of this. So we'll just cut a little piece. And we'll just melt it in right onto the top. Just to kind of fill it in and strengthen it up a little bit. There. All right, and now let's do it right up here. All right, now we'll remove the old sealant or Permaseal out of the headlight. The first one I tried to put in the oven to heat up the Permaseal, but it made it very difficult to remove and took a very long time, so I don't recommend heating it up. Here is the second light, which I did not put in the oven, so it is at room temperature. The method I found that works the best is to pry up a chunk of the Permaseal, grab onto it with a pair of needle nose pliers, then rotate the pliers, which pulls the Permaseal up and out of the headlight, while also applying pressure downward to help hold the headlight still. Now I'll just continue this method all the way around the headlight, which made the process go very smooth and quickly. Woo! Look at that. This stuff is tough. All right, now that we've got all of the Permaseal cleaned out, we're gonna start putting the headlight back together. So this one is the passenger side. We've got the passenger side box right here of all the parts. So now we can start reassembling. Lots of parts, lots of bolts. Just need to remember how everything goes. I'll need to cover these wires with shrink wrap as the insulation is deteriorated. This. Okay, now we can put this assembly back into the headlight. I'm just going to blow this out a little bit. So when you're putting this assembly in, make sure you get the wires from this light because they plug in right here. So we'll just set this down. All right, so I'm going to show you the two different screws, which are both T20s. One has a larger head and a flat tip, and this one's got a smaller head with a pointed tip. So this one with the larger head puts this whole assembly together, and then the pointed one with the smaller head mounts this assembly into the headlight. So now we're going to use all of the smaller ones with the pointed head to mount this assembly into the headlight. Now we can plug these wires in. They can only go in one way. We can put the bulbs in. So we'll start with the HID. Don't touch the bulb. Just goes in and then twist. Plug the connector in. Now we'll go in with this light over here. This is the halo. So we'll go in with this one and turn it. The insulation on these wires is also deteriorated, so we'll just wrap them with some electrical tape. Put this on. This one is actually broken. So I'm gonna have to either get a new cover or do some type of latch somewhere. All right, so let's blow it out. And then I've just got, this is 5% alcohol and water, probably even less than 5%, like maybe 2.5. Try and get some of these fingerprints off. So just very light. Oh, some of it started rubbing off right there, so be gentle. Better have a fingerprint than some missing chrome. Let's prepare the lens. So we'll blow this off. I'm going to blow it off over here so I don't blow anything into there. All right, and now we'll wipe the inside of this as well. I don't know how recommended that is, but I probably got my fingerprints everywhere on it, so I will wipe it. Okay, so that is ready as well. So the seal that I'm going to use is this stuff. I got it off of Amazon. I think there is another brand that a lot of other people are using, but I don't know if maybe the shipping was too long. I'm sure this stuff will work just fine. So this stuff comes in a roll, and it's wet and sticky already. So we'll just start peeling it off. Let's see, this is the top. So let's start on the bottom, right in the center, and we'll just work our way around. You just want to do one continuous bead. Make sure it goes all the way down inside the channel. Let's get the screws and the clips. So it's only 2 screws and 2 clips. These go to the modules. And I'll probably use a couple of these style clamps. Let's see. Definitely going to need to push pretty hard to get this thing seated. You can see where the clips go. One clip goes here. It's definitely not going to clip on yet. Let's see if we could get it to clip. If we use this. There we go. Oh, that clipped. Let's try and get one of these screws in. Oh, that one's in. Nice. Okay, now let's see if this one will bite. Ah, now this one bit. Awesome, that's pulling it in. Now let's see if we could get this clip right here. There. Okay. Now let's do the other one. We'll blow it out and wipe off some of these fingerprints. Now we'll blow the lens off and wipe it out. Okay, let's shove that down in there. Okay, this edge in first because you got to line up. There's a clip here that goes into that slot, so you got to line that up. All right, now just shove it in there. All right, just to get the seal to kind of seat more and stick to the lens, I'm gonna pop these in the oven for a few minutes at the same temperature, 240, and then I'll try and press them in even more, maybe put a couple of clamps. But yeah, so they're pretty seated now, but I just wanna ensure that they're getting a good bond. So let's go throw these in the oven. All right, so the headlights have been in here now for about 20 minutes. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull them out and I'm gonna use this post right here to press the lens into the housing. In hindsight, I should have baked the headlights after installing the seal and before installing the new lenses. All right, I think that is good. Here's a closer look on the second one. All right, so watch the gap as I push in. The other one, you could visually see the gap kind of tightening up. This one seems pretty tight already. Okay, so after I smashed them together after being in the oven, I came over here and put some clamps on them where I could, tightened up the screws a little bit, made sure the clips were on tight. So now I'm gonna let them sit here for maybe 30 minutes to cool off, and then I will start putting all the modules back on and put them back in the car. You can see here some of the sealant is squeezing out, which is good. Okay, while we're waiting for these to dry, we still need to put the seal trim pieces back on. I just washed them. So let's pop these on. We'll do this one over here first. Here is the plug. I just got these on Amazon. So this is 1 3/8 inches, which allows you to get down inside and change that bulb. It's pretty much in the same spot that the other one was in, so you still do have access here. So you're just gonna push this under here, and there's a clip here, there's a little clip there, so it needs to go up and under those. And then these clips go up and under here. This up and under there. This one is like one more here, like that. Now this can be plugged back in as well. And now we can put this plug in. Perfect. Now I'll just have to keep an eye on this to see if it leaks or anything, but I don't think it will. It's very tight. Now there is one that goes around this side. So when you buy this new, it's actually connected with the rubber gasket. This one is just broken. So there's a little notch right there that this hole sticks onto, and a couple of clips down here. Yeah, it's not really fitting how it should. Looks like I will be gluing this piece on. I guess we will just use some of this. Since this is high heat, the heat from the light should not affect it. So let's just go right there and then up here like that. There we go. Get the modules put back on. Just wiggle and push, and then the screws will suck them down. Got the little vent tubes here. Mounting bracket, blinker, and running light, I think, is both here. I think I'm going to put a small screw to hold this in. Pretty sure I'll still be able to get to these once it's in the car. We'll see. If not, I'll just end up replacing this cover and fill those holes in with some silicone. Not a big deal. So now we'll prepare to put them back in the car. So the bracket Slides on just like this. You've got a couple of slots here that it slides into, and then the 2 screws or bolts right there. Just make sure it clicks in all the way. And then the 2 bolts from the top. Get the connector plugged in, and then slide it into place. The one long one goes here. And since we've got the fender, just try and line it up with the fender for now. That's a huge improvement. Now I need to paint the bumper and get it back on. Very nice. All right, that's gonna do it for today's video. We were able to repair the damaged headlights and replace those old weathered lenses. Next time we'll start working on some of the body damage like the bumpers and the rear quarter panel. So thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please share it with someone, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video.